Afternoon, first cousins. How y'all doing? It's y'all girl here, Gmo. It's been a long day, but I got to get to it. It's been heavy on my spirit. I've been talking to my spiritual god sister, and we must just be kindred spirit because we were talking about the same thing. I always like to talk about topics that are very much so taboo in all communities. And this one today has really hit home for a lot of people. And I was like, let me get on it. Let me get to it. This particular topic is about blended families. Whether you grew up in one, you got married into one, you was adopted in one, blended families. Nobody ever liked to talk about or discuss the absolute stress and family toxicity that comes with that particular situation. Case in point, if you're born into one, that's different, right? That's your situation, and you have mom and you have dad, but they brought some other kids with them before you were born, right? So now you're the baby of the bunch for the most part, and other siblings have other siblings and another parent from another previous relationship, right? And so trying to find that dynamic when you're sharing siblings, or if you grew up in a home, some very similar to where I did, where I was the oldest and I had a bonus dad, and my mother and my bonus dad had children. So, and then I have a different father. And so that situation was different because, being the oldest, sometimes you're like the second parent in a home, right? Then I got married, and I already had my daughter, and my ex-husband had three boys, from two from a previous relation from his previous marriage, and then he had one from a previous relationship. So when we talk about a blended family, it can come in different shapes, sizes, and colors and dynamics, but no one ever talks about the stress and the heartache and the discomfort and the constant biting your tongue and trying to figure out, is it us versus them type of situations that go on in the household. For instance, often it was like me and my daughter versus my ex-husband and the boys, because they had a dynamic. Me and my daughter had a dynamic, and even after he and I got married and we dated and we brought the kiddos together, there was still a different dynamic. For 2 weeks they went home with their mom. My daughter was with me on weekends. She saw her dad. So we didn't have the typical drama that comes with the opposite baby mama and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't, I didn't tolerate that, and I didn't bring that into the relationships. But the respect that the kiddos need to have for the other parent is often a very stressful situation, because it's the dynamic of, you ain't my mama or you ain't my daddy, right? I was that kid. My father, my biological father, had been with my stepmother. I love them both. But I remember being a kiddo and meeting my stepmother for the first time. And first, second, probably fourth word I ever said to her was, "You ain't my mama." And I got an attitude in the mouth out this world. So I know she wanted to haul off and knock me out. And at the end of the day, what other significant adult wouldn't want to, when it's like, listen, when you in my house, you're going to respect me. It's not just your father, it's me and your daddy in here. You're going to respect that. I got older, same situation, right? When I was growing up, same situation. My bonus dad love him to death. He would move heaven and hell for me. My daughter is his first granddaughter. At the end of the day, there was a situation growing up. We didn't get along much because he wasn't my father, right? Then my mother started having other kiddos with him and everything else. So there was a lot of sometimes ostracized feeling, where it was like, you gonna respect him anyway. You may not like him, but you gotta respect him. So a lot of things that's forced on that. And I grew up born late 70s, raised in the 80s, that type of generation where, you do what you got to do, you get knocked out, right? Do as I say, not as I do. And so, as I got older, the love was there, but there's so much toxicity that is not spoken in the family dynamics about blended families, and the level of disciplinarian actions and the issues and even generational curses that's created about that. Y'all hear me talk about generational curses in my last video, about kiddos coming over being disrespectful, like I just said, thinking that they're going to say and do whatever they want to say and do, or acting the way that they do at their primary home, and thinking that they're coming into the other home and that behavior is still okay, because the rules are supposed to change, be the same in every home and environment that they come into. Absolutely not the case. Absolutely not the case. And I'm a strong disciplinarian. Whether if I say what I gotta say, spare the rod, spoil the child. I don't tolerate disrespect. There's a lot of people out there that just don't do that, especially when your finances and your resources are going to helping this kid in a relationship. Then now there's tension between you and your significant other, because how dare you treat my child differently, or that child's supposed to be treated differently than everybody else in the home because they're from a different situation, so they're expecting different a special kind of love or special privileges or what have you, because they're come from a different home or they're a different dynamic. Now let's talk about something else that don't nobody ever really want to talk about. Okay, the side piece baby that decided to be kept and forced upon a relationship and now has to find its way into the family dynamic that's already blended. Come on, y'all. Slapping you some high five in the back, girl. And sir over there on the side. The baby that you didn't find out that wasn't yours, but now you didn't married her and had other kids, and come to find out that baby belonged to somebody else. But now you loved it, you attached to it, you've been feeding and pouring into this kid. The kid is here. What do? So it's so much toxicity behind this blended family situation. Nobody's talking about it. Seems to be a lot of shame and embarrassment behind it. But look at all the issues that it causes when you don't. So family, you're going to have to deal with that. Get you some family therapy. Get you some family counseling. When you pray, when you get off your knees from praying, do something. Do something, because that creates a lot of tension, a lot of hate, a lot of family dynamic issues, and again, generational curses and toxicity that does not have to be there. Effective communication is absolutely key. This is your girl Gmo. You can reach me if you want to schedule a consultation, thebeautifulmindinc@gmail.com. Go grab the book. It's on Amazon.com, Barnes and Nobles, or Xlibris.com. It's To My Sisters by L.S. Gilmore. This your girl Gmo. Love y'all. Have a good day. Bye.